Oh, we're back with another life. Simple as that. We're back. We're back with another live, and we're gonna do a couple prompts. I don't know. I always get stuck on finding what to fucking say. So I'm prepared this time. I'm ready. Let's see if it's gonna work, if I'm gonna choke, or what's actually gonna happen. Um, should we get straight into it? I don't know. We have a lot of stalkers today. I don't know, but let's go right into it. Like you should be typing what you're thinking. Um, have you ever given up on something you wish you hadn't? Technically, uh, look at this book. I've never seen a book cover like this. It wraps around and it goes in a whole circle. All right. Mm, technically, working out. Working out. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one because used to work out every day as a kid. Well, when I was like, oh, when I was in high school, was to work out every single day. But what happened? Started dating people. I had two girlfriends during high school. Messed me up mentally, and now I don't work out. Damn, I should work out. That's all. Working out really it it puts you in a different state of mind, like completely. I love working out. It's one of my favorite things. Um, but lack the discipline to actually go and do it. That's the issue, and it's a big issue because um, like 80% of the struggle is just making it to the actual gym. That's it. Finding time to go there and start. Once you're in there and you start lifting shit, that is lovely. Love that feeling. Love the feeling of getting a pump and actually working out and being in the gym and that environment. But as soon as I put any excuse to not go, then it just fucks up everything. Um, then it's a whole entire cycle. So this is kind of a a channel. This whole streaming every day is a channel for me to build discipline for doing things I don't want to be doing. For example, this talking to nobody, talking to a random screen where there's nobody here. Uh, doing it every day forces me to build discipline because discipline is putting it in simple terms is the action of doing things you don't want to do, right? um that's why we're here, so we can actually do things every single day and get the consistent repetition, because one day it'll pay off. One day I'll be listening to these and I'll be listening to them and thinking back to when I didn't want to do it, when I was making up excuses to not do it. But at at the end of the day, I showed up. I showed up and I did it. And whether it's good, whether it's perfect, whether it's exactly how I wanted it, or I set up with the brand and I'm talking and it's smooth and it's flowing and I'm entertaining and I have people coming over. All of that starts today, and none of the other things matter. Why? Because I'm able to show up today, and that's the goal. Show up every day, no matter what. What do you most what do you most look forward to about summer? Um I like the long days. Do you know that some days in the summer it goes dark at like 10, 9, and 10? It blows my brain. Like I was doing yard work at like 8:30 at night. And there was still sun. The sun was going down and everything was bright and I was able to do it just fine. That is so beautiful. I love the summer. I could I could live in anywhere. If I could live anywhere, I would choose anywhere that has warm weather year round. The cold is cool. I have no beef with the cold, but if I could do it for just a limited amount of time, that'd be perfect. That's all I would want. So to do it on my based on my own desires. So if I want to go to a mountain and spend a week there, now that's under my control. But if I'm just chilling here and the winter comes up and now I'm stuck here, just I don't fuck with that. Don't fuck with that at all. Mm, let's see. What are you careless with? Last one. Careless with my routines and my schedule. It's something that I've put so much effort towards, but yet I'm unable to keep going every single day. And actually, it goes back to what we just talked about: discipline. All just discipline. Start doing other things, and one thing leads to the other leads to the other, and I end up not following the schedule that I've built for myself, that I'm so proud of. I have it right there on a big ass whiteboard for a reason. That one right there, right? It's all broken down into 3 hour segments from 6 to 9. At 6 o'clock till 9, you have a time. From 9, you have a time until 12. From 12, you have a time until 3. And from 3, you have some time until 6. It's all broken down into exactly what you need to do in those segments. And it's not so much to the freaking second, because it's still wide open for you to have freedom and the ability to do whatever you want, but yet still don't do it. Why? When it's already set up for you to succeed. It could be something that I need to improve on. Maybe get some type of mentor. But I feel like I can do it myself. I don't know. I've been trying for about 5 years, and it's not something that is easy, not something that just comes to me. And maybe it's all the way from when I was in school, because I would refuse to follow a schedule, to be consistent. Did not want to do it. So now it's like I'm in the same cycle, doing the same things. And that's fine. I guess it happens. With time. With time is where you see the fruits of your labor. So episode 5 or 6, but we're moving in the direction that we want to, and that is what matters at the end of the day. News. Let's do the news. Live breaking news. Let's see. It's different. It's different when there's people here. Kind of the time goes by faster. But sitting here for an hour, just talking to a wall. Well, I don't think you guys as a wall. I see you for differently. I don't know. I guess I feel like I'm talking to myself, my future self. That helps a lot. You know, feeling like you're talking to your future self. It makes things different because there's an audience. There's someone there. Um, should we just jump right into it? Because we got a lot to do today. Let's go. Oh. So, maybe I can have this a little higher. No, I'm just gonna touch that. That's not good. Okay. We're gonna try 2 ways today, and that let's see which one I like most. Which strategy that I'm using. Okay. We're in the middle. Let's wait for this. Let's wait for this nice puppy to finish drinking her water so we can have some quiet in the set. That's what you want. Right. You see, I don't know. Time is going by very slow today. Time is going by very slow. Don't want to do much. But let's see. Reaching full potential, achieving and accomplishments, belonging and love, security and health, food, water, and shelter. Reaching full potential. How do you reach full potential? Well, I think we have to describe what this full potential actually is and what it means, right? Because there's a lot of people that have a different perspective on what their own potential is. Most are limited within that range. But if we're talking about an objective, right, human potential, it is being in communion with God, being in communion daily, being in daily communion with God. That is the absolute fullness of human potential. If we're talking about anything, anything that has to do with the world, anything that has to do with society that limits that category a lot. Okay, full potential is what, being a president, being the president, being rich, being a billionaire, being an influencer, being a Kim Kardashian. Like, where, how much do you limit yourself? Or being in communion with God, the creator of everything, right? How do we get there? Through following the Lord, right? Follow the Lord, follow the steps that has been laid for us. It's been laid for us and tried and tested by others. And that's why we have the saints to show us the way of what is possible for a human when we push the limits, right? If we separate fully from, or at least try to separate from these temptations that we have, right? How do you do that? There's a specific journey that has been laid out for us, and it's been there for 2,000 years. There's, and you can think of meditation, you can think of all of these new age terms that have come up within the past 5-10 years, uh, that more mainstream than they ever were before. They've been completely corrupted. They've been completely corrupted. A lot of people are just in a state of pure emotional ecstasy, right? And a lot of these people that do all of these things, like the ayahuasca, you have a temporary moment of enlightenment, right? But then how do you carry that throughout your life, right? Do you just want that emotional ecstasy, or do you want something deeper, or truth, right? Is that will that changes a lot of people's behavior on the surface, but do you truly understand your nature with that? Do you truly understand how to move forward in the truth? That's difference, right? It is all steps and a journey that you can take with Christ, right? And it's the most difficult journey. If you've ever done a marathon, a some type of training for something, military training, anything does not compare to what the saints, what the monks have to live with and have to struggle with every single day of their life, willingly, willingly, out of their own hearts, because they've seen the truth and they understand the truth. And then their past behavior pulls them back to this earth, tries to pull them. And it's such a struggle to separate from that. And in that, there's such a big storm and lightning and earthquakes within you. And it's a journey that once you're in there, you can understand. But if you are constantly distracted by the world, by the news, by celebrities, by the entertainment, by technology, by your job, by the family, it takes so much to fully feel that truth and fully live it every day. The truth. The truth of orthodoxy. Now, cracking every bone in my body. Cognitive overload. I've had this up for almost a year. Still haven't made a video on it. Still sitting on my wall. And I'm still feeling that way. Just cognitive overload. My mind, my cognitive processing, my thinking is just so overwhelmed by so many things of this world that are at the end of the day meaningless. All of it is meaningless because we all die, whether it's soon or later. It happens to absolutely everyone. And the faster you accept it is the faster you start to rearrange your priorities, right? And for me, this world is not a priority. So then when it comes to doing daily activities, I get complete cognitive overload because I start to question, but why? When I can be in a meditative state, thinking about death and about God. That's all I want. That is what fulfills my heart. That is the truth of life, right? So then put that into perspective, and then everything becomes meaningless. So why get up from my bed and do some random shit? Why go do the dishes? Why go outside and clean the yard? Right? Why come here and follow my schedule? Why try to find clients for the business? Why? But then you think about how other people are struggling and other people are going through life not fully aligned with the truth. They're in a state of ignorance. And a lot of the time, that's okay. But sometimes that motivates me to push forward and actually act on the plan that I've set up for myself. The strategy that I have, right? which is at the end of the day, want to build housing, build infrastructure, build cities, build monastery, build churches, and start spreading it all around every nation. Not in an ideology way, in not in a political way, but just in a pure, compassionate way, where I've seen and experienced truth, and I would like other people to experience truth and harmony, right? Everyday harmony. So the cities, the monasteries, the churches, they build and create stability. Stability leads to harmony, right? It's a hospital for the soul when we are so dry from this earth and from all of these worldly desires that makes us so dry inside. The church fills us up and overflows us, literally overflows our cup. So it becomes like a hospital where you go and you heal your soul and you become different, better, aligned with truth. You walk the narrow path, which is the hardest path, the narrow path, which is what orthodoxy is. It's the narrow path. The narrow path because nobody wants to do it. Nobody's. All right, let's get to the news. Should have just left it where I left it. But now I've pushed my luck a little too far and started overdoing my yapping. All right. It's orthodoxy. That right there. That's the meaning of life. If you can sacrifice something because we've been shown, we've been told, the good news has been shared that there's an ultimate sacrifice that's been done of pure will and heart. Someone pure, someone so pure and perfect, willingly said, do this to me so I can be an example of what sacrifice is, so that everybody else can see the sacrifice I've done and understand that sacrificing something so simple in your life It's not the same as giving up your entire life for something you did not do, which is what he was being blamed for by the government at that time. Can you imagine doing that? If someone knocked on your door right now and said, "You did this, you did this, you're doing this. We blame you." And then having the mental strength to know what's going to happen in the future and saying, okay, knowing that what they're saying is not true and still saying, okay, sure, I accept it. What can you sacrifice in your life at that level? Moving houses, going to church on Sundays, being on time, doing morning and evening prayer. Is that so hard to sacrifice? When we have the perfect example of giving your life up for something you're innocent of. Complete, complete innocence. Complete innocence. But yet was willing to go and be tortured and put to death. That's Christ. Let's see what we can do here. Need that. Need this. I'm just gonna go over here. I think you know the truth, but there's a lot. There's a lot to be learned. Okay. We're gonna do the news report. That's what we're here for. That's what we're gonna do. Top US and world news today. Top US and world news today. A judge ordered thousands of Epstein's Maxwell documents to be unsealed, which could reveal major new details about the case. The Federal Reserve is expected to cut interest rates soon, but experts say the vote will be very close. A global watchdog downgraded the US to obstructed for civic freedoms, saying basic freedoms have weakened. Democratic governors are starting to position themselves as national leaders ahead of the 2028 elections. I don't know if that's true. Gaza's military chief declared a new de facto borderline that gives Israel control of more than half of Gaza under the ceasefire plan. That's what they want. That's what they wanted from the beginning. The UN condemned a raid on its refugee agency offices in East Jerusalem, calling it illegal. Eastern Congo sees heavy fighting again, forcing 200,000 people to flee. Nigeria sent troops to Benin after a failed coup attempt. And China plans to limit access to NVIDIA's newest AI chips, even though the US allowed exports, signaling China's push for tech independence. That's the news for today. See you tomorrow. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Stream is not done. That's done. But okay, I said I had two options that I was gonna do. So let's do the other one. The other one's a little more full and bigger. Um, okay. Top U.S. and world headlines today. A federal judge ordered the unsealing of investigative materials in the Ghislaine Maxwell case, making public potentially thousands of documents related to her and Jeffrey Epstein under the newly passed Epstein Files Transparency Act. The Federal Reserve is widely expected to cut interest rate at its oncoming meeting, though analysts caution the vote may be much higher than usual. Civil society watchdog Civic US downgraded the US civic health rating to obstructed, citing what it said was a sharp decline in fundamental freedoms under the current administration. In political development, several Democratic governors at a party in political developments, several Democratic governors at a party gathering positioned themselves as a rising national leader ahead of the 2028 election cycle, signaling potential fractures even before a formal primary season begins. In, in world news, the military chief of Gaza stripped. In world news, the military chief of Gaza Strip announced that the so-called Yellow Line proposed under the 2025 ceasefire plan will now be treated as a new de facto border, a move that would give Israel effective control over more than half of Gaza, including strategic areas. The United Nations condemned a raid on the headquarters of the UNRWA, the UN's Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees, in occupied East Jerusalem, describing the operation as a violation of international law. In Africa, fighting continues in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo as rebel advances prompt In Africa, fighting continues in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo as rebel advances prompt the displacement of around 200,000 people. Meanwhile, Nigeria's Senate approved troops deployment to Benin following a failed coup attempt. And major shifts in global tech trade. Despite approval for exports from US chip makers Nvidia to China, the Chinese government is reported major shift in global tech, major shift in global tech trade. Despite approval, major shift in global major shift in global tech trade. Despite approval for export from US chip makers Nvidia to China, the Chinese government is reportedly planning to limit access to the advanced H200 AI chips, signaling a drive toward technical self sufficiency. That's the news for today. That's the news for today. See you tomorrow. That's the news for today. See you tomorrow. Well, let's see. I like this last one. What's this all about? Let's check it out. It's closed. It's not. It doesn't open. Great. That's not. Don't you hate when news sources have a freaking paywall? Like, aren't you supposed to be? I get that you're trying to, get money and raise capital to keep your operations going, but to make a freaking news report of an article a paywall, what the fuck is wrong with people? Why would you do that? You really that starving? You really that freaking greedy to make article an article paywall? That's crazy. That should not be allowed. News should be open source, which is that's why we do this. So we're gonna develop even more as we go, but right now we're just doing the quick headlines, right? Because we're trying to get more people here. It's all part of the game plan. It's all part of the game plan. It's a long strategy, but hopefully it pays off. God willing. Have mercy on me. And glory to God. Let's see. What can we do? The update for today. Imagine I left a client hanging, so I need to get back to them immediately for the free trial. They said they're willing to do the free trial, and they kept reiterating that they want the free, they want the free, they want the free. So let's give them the free. That's okay. We want to be able to help. So what does he need? He needs the website. He needs the funnel. He needs the quiz. And then need to set up the meta ads for them. So and then the creatives. How about we write that down? Right now? Right. So for this client, what did we say? First things first. For what was it? Masonry. We need the website, funnel, the quiz. What's next? Quiz, the creatives, the website, okay, the funnel, the quiz, the creatives, the meta. Okay, website, funnel, quiz, creatives, the meta ads, Am I missing something? Website, funnel, quiz, creative, meta ads. I like to do 6. I like to do either 3, so you simplify your idea and make 3 points, or alternatively, you expand your idea into 6 bullet points. So you contract to 3 or you expand to 6. That way you are not doing too much or too little, right? You're you're doubling your work. And if you want to do a extended version, you do 9 bullet points. So 3, 6, or 9 bullet points. Um, Website, funnel, quiz, creative, meta ads. I don't just want to add a random thing. I see I'm missing one. I'm missing one. Not I can't fully remember what it is. Website. Okay, gotta do the website. The funnel. Gotta bring people in. Quiz. Gotta do the estimates. Creatives. Gotta launch the ads. Meta ads. Gotta program the ads. AI automations. Targeted online advertising. Digital marketing. Okay. Let's do automations. Automation. So that's what we're doing for our clients. See, pretty simple, pretty easy. This is the ads package that you can find at free dot imagine bizhelp.com. So if you go here, that is our main website, and it has everything that we offer. Our done for you program, which we charge, obviously, is a done for you program, but we also share and democratize information. And if you want to do it yourself, and we share everything that we would do for you 100% free. So if you go to free.imaginebizhelp.com, you have all the tools, all the necessary um, steps for you to do it 100% by yourself. And if you want help, just go to imaginebizhelp.com. We will help you entirely. Now, let's check the charts. I saw a lot of movement today. Saw a lot of movements. So let's see how it's going. Saw a lot of oil, but that's just from the quick updates that I get throughout the day. Okay. Let's see, a week. We always start on the weekly time frame. Then we go down. Last swing high, swing low. We draw the fib from 100% retracement to 0% retracement. It retraced all the way to a liquidity area. We had an exchange of momentum from sellers pushing price up to buyers pushing price down. Then right here, we never broke this swing low. So now we are still in within this move right here. We're still within that move because we have not broken below that. So with that in mind, we go down in time frame. And down in a lower time frame, we have the same pattern playing out. We have a lower time frame swing high to a swing low. Then we take liquidity right here. We have an exchange of momentum and we keep pushing down. Now, same thing we see. So it's a fractal. We see fractals from macro to micro. Same thing happening. So it price did not break this swing low. So we are in a box. With that in mind, we go lower. So now we're on the 3 hour. This is everything that has happened as of yesterday, as of this week, let's say, as of this week. And everything that has happened as of this week, we had a lower time frame swing high, a swing low. It took some time to grab this liquidity right up here, but we had an exchange. Let's see, where's my circle? Right here, we had an exchange. And then price pushed down all the way down. And then it broke this right here. So we know we're fully in a downtrend, looking to break below this 52.12. But we haven't broken that yet. So price is in a box. Let's draw the box, the famous box that we keep talking about. Okay, we go from swing high to swing low of the box. And with that in mind, we go lower. Now, we see the exact same pattern. Don't get distracted by the background. We're only looking at the white and blue candles. Don't get distracted. The rest is just forecasting. But right here, we have a swing high, a swing low, a strong, very strong break of structure. So what we do, we come here, we draw the fib from the swing high, 100% retracement, to the swing low, 0% retracement. And then we wait for price to come up and grab liquidity, right? Because price has not grabbed liquidity, so we cannot just guess what price is going to do. Price could continue pushing down. It could grab liquidity. Once it grabs liquidity, it can continue moving forward. There's an infinite things that could happen right now, but we could clarify things a little more to see where this liquidity pool is sitting at. And if it's sitting at between the golden ratio that we have right here, this golden ratio, which is this two yellow lines, if price sits right between there, then we have a major trade. And as far as we can see, we have that exact same thing playing out. And this is as of today, actually. So right here, that was yesterday. Today's move, we got a swing high all the way up, a swing low, and then tomorrow is probably going to come up perfectly to this area, right? And if it goes to this area, like we've seen before, price is going to react. Whether it reacts up or down, it's not up to us. It's up to the market. But we can predict what it could do. Can't just guess. We can accurately predict um, two outcomes. You never predict one outcome. That's now that now you're gambling, but you can predict two outcomes and have a risk management between those two. So if you lose small. If you win, you win big enough to balance out your losses. That's trading, right? So we're looking for an entry around this point. So and so anywhere between this line or this line, price is gonna come up here and push down. Right now it's set up perfectly to what the type of trade that I would take, the type of entry that I would take, going up to a liquidity and bounce. We're doing the expansion, contraction. So each right here, we had contraction, expansion, all the way down, and then contraction again. You want to contract all the way here, and then expand, contract, and expand. Let's go gold. Again, we start at the weekly. We start at the weekly. You see the same thing. Price is broken up, retraced. Now it's in the middle section. It's in a box. We go lower. With that in mind, we go lower. Da 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 da. Same thing. Pushed up, rewind. Now it's in the box. We go lower. Okay. Now price is completely sideways. We see it making higher highs, but right here it broke. If price breaks below this, then we know it's going to keep going down. If price breaks above this green line, then we know it's going to keep going up. Let's go down because its price is sideways, so there's not much going on. Like the other one, you saw there was clear price action, price getting price expanding and then contracting, expanding and then contracting. That's what we want. Right here, price is just going sideways, sideways, sideways. So that's not good. Right. So here it broke above, and then it broke below. So that's not they still going sideways. So we're just gonna ignore this. In the bigger time frame, we're just looking for it to either break above this green one or break below this red one. Then we'll know what's happening. Bitcoin. Bitcoin's looking similar to oil, but the opposite direction, going up. So we have, you see the trend, expansion, contraction, and every contraction is smaller than the previous expansion, which makes it the spring. Spring, boing, boing, keeps going up. And every contraction is smaller than every expansion. So you see, contraction is smaller than this long expansion. That's why we use the fib to tell us that, exactly show us that, how much percentage the contraction is going to be. If the contraction is 100%, then that avoids the move. Then we are not longer in a trend because the contractions have to be smaller than the expansions. And if the contraction is bigger than the expansion, then we have a change of character. Then we know the trend is changing. Let's see. That's Bitcoin. On the daily, same thing. Expanding, boom. Contraction, expansion. So right here, you see that one right there. So this expansion, boom. That was an expansion. And yeah, and then we have the contraction all the way up there. So the contraction was bigger than the last expansion. So that tells us there's a change of character in the market. The market is changing directions, changing trending patterns, right? So now we look into a bullish patterns where right here we take this swing low to this swing high, we map that out, and then our expansion from the swing low to the swing high, that's the expansion, and then we have a contraction that is smaller than the expansion, and it lands perfectly into our Goldilocks zone, our golden ratio, right? If we go lower, we'll be able to see this further right here. I believe this is what we mapped out the other day. Because we've been looking we have been looking at Bitcoin this past couple of streams. So this is exactly what we mapped out the other day, and it's played out perfectly. So we had the expansion, contraction down to this liquidity area, which is not a strong liquidity, I tell you that. I think yesterday we were around here, and I kind of expected price to go down to this liquidity area. But if the buyers feel like this was a good price to start buying at and um, take momentum back from the sellers, that's totally fine, right? So, and that's exactly what we saw. We saw an exchange happen right here, which in a lower time frame, there's probably is a yeah, right. So right there, there's the liquidity. So the exchange didn't just happen at a random place. I expected an exchange a little lower because I saw a lot of movement. But right here, if we look closer, the last push down before the push up is literally right here. It wicked down, it wicked up, it wicked down, and then it pushed all the way down where it broke the structure, and we continued all the way to the swing high. So, and then price contracted all the way back down to the exact same area where price started. And then it continued pushing up perfectly, perfectly, exactly what it's supposed to be doing. Now, here, for today's move, it's a little choppy. I don't see full candles. That was a lot of over the weekend move. Sunday, Monday, still choppy. Uh, and then today, which we've seen a big move, more momentum coming to the market, which is what we want. Now, I would take this right here, but it's just these candles are not fully. There's a lot of gaps, but let's do it just for demonstration purposes. We go from the swing low to the swing high, and we have liquidity sitting right here on this area. And then what do we see? Price go exactly to our point, dot for dot. It is so liquidity, last push down before the push up, and we see that liquidity sitting right there uh, with our Fibonacci and hitting the top of our golden ratio, our Goldilocks zone. So now we can either expect price to push down to this bottom line and then keep pushing up to break this or continue to go lower and try to grab more liquidity down here. But this is a good support so far. It's just price is so choppy. Like, what are these orders? What's this order? This order? This order? Just randomly placed orders. Compared to this, look at this market. Look at this market. Perfectly timed candles, a full order, completely come back, and then. But I don't know what happened here. Since this, what is this? What happened here? Let's see. What news do we have for December for Bitcoin news? Hmm. A big structural shift. Bank of America announced it will allow advisors to recommend crypto exchange traded products, including those tied to Bitcoin, starting January 2026. This increase in institutional access may broaden the investors' base for crypto. On December 4th, the market saw renewed enthusiasm as institutions like BlackRock's ETF backed funds increased their holdings of Bitcoin, reportedly now owning around 3.9% of all its existing Bitcoin supply, giving strong demand signals backing. That is insane. BlackRock owning 3.9% of all existing Bitcoin. Insane. And freaking insane. So that's why we see this. We saw this is perfect proof of institutions coming in and moving price. Big institutions, I mean, they hold 3.9%. Like, come on, that's significant. That is extremely significant. Very significant. So right after that, which was Thursday at 3 p.m., we've seen price just be choppy. Right now, we have a couple big players right now coming in, but still very choppy. We see these big candles, but still very choppy. I would like to see this price fill out a little more, so more people take control. But overall, you heard the news. You just heard the news. This is a freaking magical time for Bitcoin. 10 years from now, we'll be looking back at this time and seeing how we were at 80K, 90K. That's the magical number. 90K. 90K. We'll never come back to this price ever again. Ever. So buy your shit if you want. This is not advice, but just based on pattern recognition and market structure. We see that 90K is being right now 90 around 90 to 80K right now is being liquidated. It's literally being liquidated. There's an exchange happening right here from this last push up. We expanded and then we contracted. Remember, the contractions need to be smaller than the expansions for us to have a trend. So that's exactly what we see. What do we see? The bottom of the swing, the top of the swing, that's the expansion, and then the contraction. coming all the way down to this liquidity area, hitting our Goldilocks zone, our golden ratio. Then perfect news, we have the news backing us up, and then price just taking off into the future. We'll see you, price. Bye bye, price. We'll never see 90K again in our whole entire lifetime. This is once in a lifetime opportunity. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. But that's the news for today. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, future people, for looking me up and having the patience to sit through all of this and having the commitment to actually watch old shit that I've made. I appreciate you. You're a real one. So, glory to God. Have mercy on me. And God willing, everything goes well. That's it.